I want to ask you something slowly, not urgently, not as a challenge, just as a question worth sitting with. Who are you becoming? Not who you think you should be, not who you were planning to be, not who other people are waiting for you to become. Just who is actually emerging in the space between who you were and who you haven't yet named. I think we spend a lot of time thinking about change as something that happens to us, a decision we make, a moment we cross, before and after. But I've noticed something different. The real changes, the ones that matter, they happen slowly, almost without permission. You don't decide to become more patient. You just notice one day that you didn't react the way you used to. You don't decide to care less about what people think. You just notice that the old anxiety is quieter now. You don't decide to stop pretending. You just notice that the performance feels too heavy to keep up. These aren't achievements. They're not even choices exactly. They're the quiet evidence of everything you've been through. And I wonder, how often do you stop to notice them? How often do you look at yourself and see not who you're failing to be, but who you're quietly becoming? There's a particular kind of person that I think most of us know. They went through something hard, really hard, the kind of thing that leaves a mark. And when you see them on the other side, they're not the same. But not in the dramatic way we sometimes imagine. Not triumphant, not healed and glowing. Just different. Quieter in some ways, more present in others. Less willing to waste time on things that don't matter. More honest, gently, unexpectedly honest. Softer in the places that used to be defended. And you look at them and you think, something changed in there. Not fixed, not resolved, just changed. I want to ask you, is that happening in you? Are there places where you're quieter than you used to be? More honest, less willing to perform, less interested in being right, and more interested in being real? Are there things you used to care about urgently that now feel smaller? And things you used to rush past that now seem like the actual point? That's not nothing. That's becoming. Here's the thing about becoming. It doesn't look like anything from the inside. You can't see yourself changing in the same way you can't see the light shifting in a room you've been sitting in all day. It just happens. And then at some point you look up and the light is completely different, and you don't remember when it changed. That's what becoming feels like. Not a before and after, just a slow, quiet shift that you can only see when you stop and look. And I want to ask you to stop. Just for a moment. Just right now. And look. Not at where you're going. Not at where you think you should be. Not at the gap between who you are and who you're trying to become. But at who is actually here. Right now. In this moment. After everything. After the things that hurt. After the things you lost. After the questions you couldn't answer. After the version of yourself you had to let go of. After all of it. Who is here? Let that sit for a moment. Because I think, if you look honestly, you'll find someone different from who you were. Not better in every way, not finished, not healed, but different. In ways that are real, in ways that matter.
in ways that, if you're honest, you might actually respect.
The person you're becoming, they don't need you to have figured everything out. They don't need you to be fully healed. They don't need you to have made sense of all of it. They just need you to keep showing up. Honestly, imperfectly, with the kind of quiet courage that doesn't look like courage from the outside, but is, actually, the hardest kind. The courage to keep going without knowing exactly where you're going. The courage to change slowly, without demanding to see the results. The courage to be a question still being answered. I don't know who you are. I don't know what brought you here. I don't know what you've been carrying or pretending or waiting to let go of. But I know you've been asking questions. Quietly. Honestly. The kind of questions that only matter to people who still care about the answers. And I think that says something about who you're becoming. Not that you have it figured out. Not that you're further along than you feel. But that you're still asking. Still noticing, still here, still trying to become something truer than what you've been performing. That's not a small thing. That's actually everything. So here's my last question for you. Not who should you become, but who are you quietly, slowly, already becoming? Right now, in the in-between. In the ordinary, in the questions that don't have clean answers yet. That person. They're already here. They've been here the whole time. If this series has meant something to you, you don't have to say anything. Just know you're not alone in the quiet.